Thank you very much, Rebecca. This morning, News Channel 5 investigates, uncovers yet another questionable state contract given to a politically connected company with no experience. It was all part of Tennessee's response to this COVID crisis. News Channel 5 chief investigative reporter Phil Williams discovered that the deal ultimately failed and taxpayers were left on the hook for millions of dollars.
Among the other revelations, career state employees repeatedly sounded the alarm that the deal was bad for taxpayers. It's an alarm that we discovered the Lee administration chose to ignore.
It seems like we need tests. We can line up tests like anyone game for some fun.
The beginning of the pandemic produced a huge business opportunity even for companies with absolutely no healthcare experience.
An email 14 days ago has turned into a more than full-time job, so that's terrific.
Mark Newman was a business school graduate working in Utah's tech community who created a company called Nomi Health to respond to the demand for testing. This was Newman on March 25th.
I've been trying to learn as fast as everyone else and break this into kind of systems. So if a clinician is listening to this and says, that guy doesn't know what he's talking about, just call me up and help educate me. We're trying to move as fast as we can.
Less than 6 weeks later, Tennessee would give Nomi a massive contract worth $26.5 million with no bidding.
I mean, this is frankly worse than our worst fears.
State Senator Jeff Yarbrough.
Entering into a $25 million no-bid contract with a company with a lack of experience over the objections of the professional staff of the agency is one of the most shocking things that I've seen in my time in state government.
It's been a lot of fun to see how fast things can coalesce.
Besides Newman's own words, there were already warning signs from a story in the Salt Lake Tribune the day before Piercy signed the contract, warning of a potential public health disaster in Utah.
If you just went back through the podcasts and stuff that was coming out of this group of companies, the language was kind of dismissive of medical expertise, sort of bragging about the fact that we've thrown this together in 3 weeks, we figured this out.
Reporter Aaron Alberti broke that story that quoted an email from one of the Utah governor's own experts that a pandemic is not the time for amateurs to learn. He worried that Nomi was finding far fewer COVID cases than other testing operations.
I mean, the difference was pretty stark. There were about half the rate of positive results that all the other Utah testers were getting.
Which raised the prospect that you were getting lots of false negatives.
Potentially, that was the concern.
And it turns out Nomi was introduced to the Lee administration by a Republican political consultant. You can see my full investigation tonight on News Channel 5 at 6.